There's that moment when you get ready to write an offer on a house that you're wondering, what else can I do to position my offer in the best way possible to get my offer accepted? My name is Andrew Finney, and my passion is helping you make sense of real estate. If you need help finding a top agent near you, or if you simply want to drop me a line to say hello, my contact info is below. If you're new here, please go and subscribe to this channel now and like this video. Thank you. All right, my friend, it's that moment whenever you submit that offer to that seller and you're so much in love with the house, you're like, oh my God, I really hope that my offer gets submitted. But what if it doesn't? What can I do to position my offer? Fortunately, there's some things that you can do that are pretty easy to do if you plan this out ahead of time with your trusted real estate advisor. One of those things that you can do is actually writing a letter to the seller explaining why you want to purchase that home. But there are some things that you want to know first before you write that letter. Some things you could overshare would be a bad thing. Some things that you want to share could be a bad thing. So we want to make sure that everything that we share are a good thing for you to help you position your offer in the best light to get your offer accepted. Let's take a closer look at the do's and don'ts of the personal note. It's really hard to know exactly how a seller is going to receive this, but if we follow the do's and we stay away from the don'ts, we can help guide you to writing the best letter to the seller possible. The first thing you want to know is to know your audience. This goes without saying. When we get ready to make a presentation or we get ready to talk to people, we always need to know our audience. What's the demographic of the audience? What's the education level? Does that person have kids? Does that person not have kids? Are they older in life? We need to know our audience so that we can write and tailor each letter to a seller in the right way to appeal to them. Consider if the situation is emotional. Now, you might be wondering, why would it be emotional, Andrew? It's a good question. If the person that owns the home may be elderly, or if that person's kids have now left the nest and they're empty nesters, they have probably spent a lot of years in this home building up memories and filling those walls full of love, joy, and laughter the same way that you probably plan on doing too. So an emotional letter in this case, something that appeals and resonates with that seller, would work well. You'd want to describe how you intend to love the property and how you intend to enjoy it with your friends and family as well, and the positive environment they have been fostering there for all those years. Or consider the sellers that have kids, but maybe they're getting ready to go to high school, and the reason for selling the property was to get into a better high school districts that they wanted their kids to go to. Now, your kids may be in the elementary school, so writing a letter about how you want your kids to go to the best school possible would likely resonate with such a seller that has kids that are getting ready to go to high school, because they probably were already in the elementary system and the middle school system leading up to that point. So they will understand and appreciate where you're coming from with your child's education if you want them to start growing up in that neighborhood too. Or how about the seller that is straight up business? We're talking about those house flippers out there. What do they care about? All they really care about is the bottom line. But even writing them an offer, giving them a little insight into your situation, letting them know that, hey, guess what? I am approved for my loan, and yes, I can make good on it, will go a long ways to instilling confidence into them, as well as the conversations that your trusted real estate advisor can have with the flippers team. The second thing you want to do is always get to the point. People have a lot of things on their plate, and when they're getting a lot of offers on a house, if it's a multiple bid situation or simply going through life and putting the home on the market, it is a process. People have a lot on their plate just like you do. So we want to be straight to the point. We need to highlight the most salient features of your letter to that seller. Things like, hey, I'm approved, I can buy this home. And in fact, if you want to reach out to my loan officer, or if your listing agent wants to reach out to my loan officer just to verify my financial capability, please do so. I have nothing to hide from you, and I'm ready to get going right now. With a brief introduction, there is no need to go into deep, hardcore details. There'll be time for that later if necessary. The third thing to do is always be professional and kind. When we're talking about being professional and kind, we want to stay away from slang words. We want to stay away from anything that is not unique or common language in the area that you're buying a home. We want to keep it professional by being respectful, by being polite, and by being kind. It's not a bad idea to use sir and ma'am whenever you're writing to people that you don't yet know. It's a good idea to always consider the fact of how you would receive an offer if you were in their shoes. Think about that for a moment and let it guide you whether you choose to handwrite or type your letter. It would be my suggestion that you type, because everybody reads handwriting differently, and I don't know about you, but mine looks a little bit more like chicken scratch. A chicken pecking at the ground would have better handwriting than mine personally. So I like to type everything out so it's easier to read, and believe in using the right word choices in writing the letter so that it can resonate and appeal with people. Just for reference, there are 3 cornerstones to effective human communication revolving around ethos, pathos, and logos. Those are the Greek words for ethos being ethics, pathos being emotions, and logos being logic. When we're considering writing a letter, when we're talking about those key words that we can use, if we know we want to focus on writing a more emotional letter, consider those supercharged words that are out there like, we would love to live in this house because you have done such a beautiful job caring for it. We can see our family enjoying this house as we fill the walls full of love, laughter, and joy, making memories in what will become our new home. That would be an example of a brief introduction. And then we would get into maybe some of the hardcore details of the situation, saying, I have been financially pre-approved, my income, assets, credit, and employment situation have been verified by this lender at this number, at this email. Please feel free to reach out to them to verify the financial strength and credibility of my financial loan pre-approval letter to purchase your home. That's all they really need to know. Now you've given them a synopsis of what you intend to do there. You've given them a synopsis of your financial strength, and that'll take us to the things you don't want to do, such as oversharing. We want to keep away from oversharing. All too often, if we find ourselves in that thought process, going back to the cornerstones of human communication, which are ethos, logos, and pathos, ethics, logic, and emotion, then if we find ourselves in that mindset and we're writing and we're thinking about emotions, sometimes it's very normal for a lot of us to overshare at that point. You know, little Johnny, I can just see him out there playing right now. It would be so awesome. He wants to paint his room blue and we want to make it a beach themed room. We want to do all these things to this home. It's so beautiful and it's so right for us. We just love it. We gotta have it. We want it today. If you could move out tomorrow, would be a good idea. These things are oversharing, okay? I mean, let's be clear. We don't want to do that. So what we want to do is just simply highlight why it's important to you, highlight your financial strength, not overshare and get into everything to do with your family, your dynamics, and everything else that's going on in the situation. If you overshare too much information, what could happen here? It's probably going through your mind right now, and that would be what happens if the seller decides, hey, you know what? I got a live one on the wire and they want this house really bad. I think I can get more money out of them. Now, I'm not saying that all sellers are like that, because they're certainly not. At the same time, we want to protect you and writing this personal note to the seller. The whole idea here is to help position your offer to win a multiple bid situation, or if you're writing less than the list price because maybe it was a little off and your trusted real estate advisor did that comparative market analysis for you, so you know that it's not in fair market value territory, then it would help explain a little bit more. Speaking of that, that would be a good thing to mention if you are writing a little bit less than their list price. It's just to say, hey, you know, I can't get more home loan than the appraised value. According to my trusted real estate advisor, the valuation of this property is between this range and this range. Please, we would love the opportunity to work with you. There you go. And it's nice and clean. And the fifth thing not to do is don't expect miracles to happen. Because you write a personal letter, it will help your offer. At the same time, it doesn't necessarily mean that miracles will happen, the heavens will open, shine down and say, hey, that letter was so amazing that you just wrote. I'm accepting your offer. It doesn't always work like that. I just want to be completely honest with you. It does help, especially if a seller is having a hard time making a decision. Having sat down with many sellers here in Las Vegas, Nevada, helping them sell their properties and receiving multiple offers or trying to help them choose an offer to accept, I can tell you firsthand, it's not always about the numbers. It depends on the mindset of the seller, going back to the first do, which is knowing your audience. In the case of some of those sellers, I have seen them where they didn't accept the highest offer. They accepted the offer for the family that they believe would enjoy the house the most moving forward. Sellers can decide who they want to work with or who they don't want to work with, right? And based upon the numbers and based upon other variables. They have the choice when they get multiple offers. So if you position yourself by that, having that letter out there, it's just one added touch to help distinguish your offer from the competition. All right, so what should we exactly include in your letter? The first thing that you want to do is to always be thankful for the opportunity to submit the offer and the possibility of working with the seller. The second thing that you want to do is the introduction. Just a brief introduction will do about you as the home buyer. The third thing you want to do is, obviously we've covered it a few times here, financial qualification, financial approval. Let the seller know that you're legit and that you're for real. One of the strongest ways I have found in practice to get this done is simply making your loan officer available. That's a huge demonstration of your confidence level in your local loan officer. And the fourth thing that you want to do is express your enthusiasm for the opportunity. So with those 4 criteria in mind, let's take a closer look at what a letter could look like. A sample letter could sound something like, "Dear homeowners, it was a pleasure going by your property and touring it today. I have seen a lot of other options in the area and I'm really excited about the opportunity to purchase your home. Your pride of ownership showed extremely well and I could tell how much you've loved this home over the years you've lived there. I am delighted at the possibility of calling 123 Main Street my new home. My name is Andrew Finney and I've been renting nearby and I can't wait to drop some permanent roots here in town. The commute is ideal for me. I am a real estate agent and I drive all over the city anyways, so this location works extremely well as it's nearby my work office. Your listing agent did a phenomenal job highlighting some of the salient selling features of your home, such as it being nearby to major transit and also being nearby to local shopping. It is certainly convenient for a great lifestyle. I can see why. It seems to be the perfect location and the weather is just right. Perhaps if it's something that helps, in addition to placing an offer at close to your asking price, I am also flexible with a timeline to accommodate your schedule if you need more time to move out. Perhaps you're in the process of selling a home and buying one at the same time. I'm here to help. I can be flexible on the close of escrow date. Please see the attached contract and the details and the terms of my offer that I've included with my loan pre-approval letter from a local loan officer who can expedite the transaction if need be. Thank you for your time and consideration. I look forward to the opportunity of working with you. Sincerely, Andrew Finney, and then signed, right? So that's an example of a real letter that you could use and it does work. With that in mind, now sit down and think about how you're gonna write your letter to the seller and make it your own. So now let's talk about making an offer on a house and 5 compromises not to make when buying your first home. Looking forward to our next conversation. We'll see you in a few.